Hey, I'm Katie, and I'm going to be taking you through your human design chart today. So, you're probably a little bit like I was a couple years ago. You heard about human design, you got your chart, and you're like, what the heck am I looking at? I spent a really long time Googling things and not really getting the best answers. So, I wanted to create a quick walkthrough video for you so you know what you're looking at, you know the important parts, you know what you should be digging into right away. And I would love to know in the comments, what else are you wanting to learn about human design? What other questions do you have? Okay, let's get to the screen share. So this is what your body graph will look like. I'm using the website mybodygraph.com. There are other ones you can use like Jovian Archive. I'm just used to this, so this is what I use. When you first get on here, it'll probably take you to Talking Body Graph, and it'll have audios you can listen to that explain a little bit about it. I don't particularly find those the most useful, but you might, so feel free to check them out. And I click over here onto My Body Graphs, and this gives you this way of looking at it. And I find that this is the easier one. So you'll see, obviously on this side is the actual body graph, and this is the chart properties. So what you want to look at right away is your type. So this fake person is a manifesting generator. Their strategy is to respond, and their authority is solar plexus emotional. So those are the three important parts you really want to look at right off the bat. And I believe in human design, they say that the initial sort of deconditioning process. So if you are, just learning about human design and unlearning all of the ways of being that aren't you, or deconditioning is what they call it, they say that takes 7 years, and I believe that those are the three parts that you're supposed to focus on at first. But if you're anything like me, you want to learn all the things. You want to know what the heck all these shapes and lines and numbers and symbols are. So I'm going to do my best to share what I've learned with you, and hopefully you'll find this really useful. Let me know in the comments below, if you do your chart, what type are you? What's your strategy? What's your authority? I would love to know. So let's get back to this. When you scroll down, you'll also see that it gives you more information. And when you actually click on different parts of the chart, it'll take you to different parts here, which is really helpful. And it gives you sort of very surface level information, which is great when you're just starting, and then you can dig in more as you understand more and as you're ready to learn more. Let's look at the centers. The centers are these shapes that you'll see here. There are 9 of them. And these centers are all about your energy and your frequency as it pertains to different areas of our lives. You'll notice that some of the names of these centers are going to be the same as like parts of our body or organs. And the important part when you're looking at this is that this is about the energy. It's not about the physical places per se, although there might be connections between them. It's not the same thing. And the first thing you probably notice is that some of these centers are white and some of the centers are colored in. So the white centers are open centers, and the colored in centers are defined centers. And the defined centers are going to be areas that are pretty consistent in how we are. This is what we kind of give off to the world. It's what like we radiate. It's what is consistently a part of us. Rarely you'll have someone with all of the centers colored in. So if that's you, totally cool. And on the flip side, we'll have people that have all of these centers open, and that means that you are a reflector. Also totally cool. And with the white or open centers, this is an area of our life that is going to be less consistent, because this is where we take in energy from the world and amplify it or make it bigger. And so you'll notice, I'll probably do another video actually talking more about centers, but these are areas where you're more open to influence from others. And the next thing you're probably noticing are these lines, and these lines are called channels. You'll notice that some of the lines are fully colored in, some of them are half colored in, and some of them are totally white. You'll also notice that there's red, there's black, and there's some that are both. Here's what that means. The lines that connect all the way through are active channels, and the ones that are half, they're called hanging gates, and then the ones that are fully white, they are open. And the ones that are red, anything that you see on the human design chart, well, not anything, but because this doesn't apply here, but for the lines or for these here, which are the planets, um, they represent the unconscious aspect of your personality. So this is something that you would be unconsciously aware of, whereas a black channel would be something that you are consciously aware of, or represent conscious parts of you. And if it is both red and black, it means that it's both conscious and unconscious. And something that's really interesting about the hanging gate, so that's this half filled in one, is that this is where like sparks fly literally between you and other people. Because when it comes to the like quantum physics energetic side of human design, someone that has the other half of a hanging gate, you're going to actually like a magnet connect to. And they do say that you don't want too much of a good thing. So you don't want like someone you're in a relationship with to be completing every single one of your hanging gates. But you'll likely notice if you have people that you really connect with in your life and you're just like, oh, I don't know what it is. I just feel this connection. If you look at their chart compared to yours, you're probably going to see that you have some hanging gates that connect with each other, which I think is really cool. So, speaking of gates, the hanging gates correspond to all of the gates, which are all of these numbers that you see on the centers. And the numbers or the gates are part of the, or are from the I Ching or hexagrams. You may have heard of them, and it's a Chinese system. You can look more into that. I don't know enough about it to really go into depth, but they give you sort of little bits of sprinkles on your personality. It is just more differentiating points because human design is all about differentiating and being the unique human that you are designed to be. And even if parts of you are white and don't have any channels activated, don't have any gates, it doesn't mean that you don't have them in you. It just means that these areas are going to be inconsistent and they will really depend on the environment that you're in as to how they're expressed. Now we're going to talk about the planets on the chart, which are these funky symbols on both sides. And you'll notice that you have two sets. So these will line up with your actual birth time. And then the red ones will line up with your design date, which is about 3 months, I believe, before your birth date. And this is when you are like designed as like a soul, kind of like the soul comes into the body, I believe, is the idea behind it. And if you click on each of these, it'll tell you more about what they are. Don't worry too much about them right now. And again, these are parts of your personality that you are consciously aware of. And the red, which are related to your unconscious birthday, are going to be parts that are unconscious in your personality. And even though these are areas that we're not as aware of and that we don't really have control over for the unconscious parts of our personality, they say that we get more aware of them as we become older. When you're looking at your incarnation cross, it's related to these here, which is your sun and your earth. And so you'll see that the numbers here 3029, 3029, and 148. So 148, that's how you get your incarnation cross. It is said to make up about 70% of our like personality expression in each of us, which is a pretty big part. And it essentially shows us what our destiny is, what we're driven to do, who we are. And there are 192 different incarnation crosses. Okay, so the last part is the profile. The profile is about the theme of how you learn and how you will travel on your life path. So this profile is a 2-4 or the Hermit Opportunist. You'll see that it comes from your suns. So the first part is going to be from the conscious. So this is the part that you are consciously aware of. And then this is the subconscious part. So you'll see that there's the 2 here and the 4 here. So this is the profile 2-4. There are 12 different profiles. And the profiles are made up of 6 lines, which come from the hexagram in the I Ching. Lines 1, 2, and 3 are intrapersonal, meaning that they are all self-focused. Lines 4, 5, and 6 are transpersonal, meaning that they're about your relationships with others. And I know that I've learned that when you have a smaller number first or the intrapersonal first, then it means that you're really about living your life for yourself and like making yourself happy. Not that the other way around doesn't work and you shouldn't be making yourself happy, but with the intrapersonal one first, that's really a big focus, is just living it for you. And then the last part that I didn't really touch on is the not self theme. And the not self is going to relate to your type. So the not self theme for generators is frustration. And so this manifesting generator is getting the not self theme from the generator part of the manifesting generator. Okay, so that is you in a chart. I'd love to know what you think. Like I said, leave me questions, comments, whatever in the comments below, and I'll link up some resources for you as well in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day, especially now that you've discovered human design.